The MCU is getting ready to start the fifth phase of its films with Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. Along with that, we have, of course, got a lot of collectibles and toys coming out that will be one of the first places we get to see how the heroes and villains will look. Let's look deeper into it, starting with MODOK's Funko Pop. At San Diego Comic-Con 2022, we saw a small toy-sized reveal of how MODOK's final design will look in the feature film. The toy figurine shows the character floating on his famous Doomsday chair, with classic purple and gold details, with a little tuft of takeoff thrust air as well, which fans loved. While we still don't have any information on who will portray or voice the character in the comics, he starts as a simple lab tech who worked for AIM. Still, he is mutated into MODOK, a mental organism designed only for computing. The character then goes crazy, kills everyone to take over the organization, and renames himself MODOK, a mental organism designed only for killing. In the movie, AIM is the same organization that Aldrich Killian runs. In the official game for Iron Man 3, Killian also had the organization copy his consciousness into the tech, turning him into MODOK for the game's plot. Though there isn't any confirmation if the creators will take the same approach for Quantumania, or if they will bring back Patton Oswalt's version from Marvel's MODOK show in 2021. Moreover, Marvel's New MODOK 2021. In the MCU's New MODOK, the character is voiced by Patton Oswalt, who has been pursuing his dream of one day taking over the world. But because of several setbacks and failures over the years, because of Earth's mightiest heroes, AIM, his evil organization, has been run into the ground. As he's ousted as the organization's leader while dealing with his failing marriage and family life, the character has to deal with the most significant challenge he's yet faced. Will he build his organization back up, fix his marriage, finally make his teenage daughter happy, and help his son get ready for his bar mitzvah right around the corner? These are just some of the challenges he has to win over. Furthermore, the man behind the massive cranium. MODOK's story started over 50 years ago, but readers were unaware that he was behind everything evil until a decade later in number 113 of Captain America. Long before he was known as an entity called MODOK, he was much more commonly just a lab tech at AIM called George Tarleton. He unwillingly had to work under the scientist supreme, Lyle Getz, who thought of him as another disposable team member. The villainous think tank then wanted to build a cosmic cube, but they needed much more enhanced brain power, a living computer. Thus, Tarleton was then forced into the alteration chamber. Once he came out of the chamber, he was shocked by his iniquity. The scientist supreme only cared about creating the ultimate intelligence, a mental organism designed only for computing, or MODOK, as the deadliest weapon, the most incredible brain on Earth, and nothing more. Realizing his new powers, Tarleton immediately killed the evil scientist supreme with a blast from his mind, and then proceeded to use his psionic powers to control the entire organization and change his name. As AIM's new leader, he changed the C in his name to K, making it known that his purpose was killing instead of computing. Coming up, the hero he must destroy. Though some of the members of the organization weren't happy with the new boss, and at times even tried to get rid of him with the help of AIM's enemies, unfortunately for them, if you weren't serving the character, you needed to die. As AIM's most destructive driving force, the character has had a lot of clashes with several heroes, even the Avengers. As his ego and ambition grew, so did his list of enemies, including some allies from his organization, such as Red Skull, as he stole the cosmic cube. Despite all of this, there's always been one hero he wanted to crush, Captain America. He was mainly just jealous of the hero because he was another experiment subject who emerged handsome, tall, and straight, unlike him. On the other hand, hand, MODOK was a grotesque and pitiful freak, trapped in a nightmare form. Because of this, he hated Cap even more just for what the hero was, and MODOK could never be again. In his attempts to control everything and dominate everything, the villain could manipulate some events from the hero's life in secret. Next up, designed superiority. The character was first made to be the biggest and most powerful brain on Earth. MODOK's mind can store and process vast amounts of information. Despite his mutation into a disgusting monster, the alteration chamber at AIM gave him insane psychic and psionic powers. These powers even include mind blast, telekinesis, force field generation, pattern solving, and telepathy. But as his brain succumbed to the mutation and grew larger, his body could not support its weight. Just to be able to be mobile, the character has to use a weaponized hovering throne called the Doomsday Chair that further enhances his powers. Along with that, the vessel can also control and conceal large weapons. All of these abilities combined to make him a great foe that can even take on heroes like the Hulk. Additionally, he plays well with others. Sometimes, a meeting between different minds usually isn't something we're worried about. Still, when those incredible minds are some of the most dangerous criminals on the planet, it's understandable that they will try to stop all heroes. A long while ago, the leader gathered the most intelligent criminals from the entire world to form the group Intelligentsia. Their only purpose was to get a hold of the most extensive and complete library of knowledge ever known to the world. A part of that was getting a hold of the biggest intellectual treasure of all time, none other than the Library of Alexandria. Naturally, they all betrayed each other and went down their paths. But after another stretch of time, MODOK was convinced he wanted to complete the mission. First, he convinced all of them that they could take revenge on all the people who did them wrong, and all they needed was a Hulk they could control, thus creating the Red Hulk. Not just that, but there was another time when he tried to get back control of AIM, as he hired a few villains to do some of the work for him. But because of the villain's nature, it's kind of given that they can't be trusted. Thanks to his vast brain, he took account of their evil nature, managed to still accomplish his goal, and regained power over the organization. And we can't forget that while he was still attached to the organization, they were not always supportive of his leadership and supreme scientist skills. Similarly, sweet retirement. Because Nature is a selfish and vengeful character, he's often using all of the organization's resources for his grand schemes. He's always had a strained position as the head of AIM, full of power struggles and a lot of coups. Despite all of this, the villain never gives up. No matter how much he fails, he's never going to stop his goal from taking over the world. But there was a time when he teamed up with the good guys as a secret member of the Avengers. MODOK had been usurped as the head of AIM by Andrew Forson. Unsatisfied with how the organization he worked so hard for was now just a haven for religious fanatics, he turned over to S.H.I.E.L.D. Not just that, but apparently, MODOK is the ultimate manifesting king. Basically, his old assistant wanted to let an old, ancient entity called Tlon out, and the entity could open up ways to an otherworldly realm full of monsters. The character, thankfully, was able to mastermind a showdown in a mind space where he saved the universe with the power of positive thought. The mission simply included them imagining the best possible universe to win. After those endless good vibes, the character ended up retiring in Ohio, of all places, and got some much-needed R&R. He was quite smitten with Maria Hill, and she actually visited him during his retirement to thank him. Finally, the character's concept artist. Thankfully, the character is a man full of ambition and would simply get bored of retirement. The character has even tried to go out towards the west to Los Angeles and start over as Brodok, or bio-robotic organism designed overwhelmingly for kissing. However, while everyone was focused more on the villains from the multiverse saga, another villain will soon be the fan favorite MODOK. Like many upcoming franchise characters, MODOK's design has been changed a bit for the MCU. The concept artist for the character, Anthony Francisco, recently talked about him, saying that he designed the character for the MCU and that it was super fun to work on him since he was one of his favorite characters to draw when he was a child. That's a wrap for this video. What are your thoughts about the villain? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.